Hello, am I audible? Hello. Let's begin our today's lecture. So in the last lecture, we have talked about, or rather we started about discussing the time domain analysis of first order system in the beginning, to be precise. Okay, so by this time you now know what is a first order system, right? First order system is a system which has only one pole, means the denominator polynomial degree is 1. That is called a first order system. So it is basically the simplest system we would say, and we started analyzing that system mathematically first. Okay, so when we talk about time response of a control system, what it means actually is time response of a dynamic system is the response of that system to an input expressed as a function of time, right? So a system whose response as a function of time, you can see here it is time domain variable t. We are plotting the response, means the output of the system as a function of time when we give certain type of input to it. For example, if I give this input to the system, I get this kind of an output. If I have provided some this kind of input, I may get this type of output, right? So the basic thing is that the x-axis variable when we are talking about the time response is t, the time variable. Okay, independent variable is t. Okay, and this time response has two components. First one is the transient response and second one is the steady state response. Okay, now what are these two? So when a system is subjected to certain input, obviously it was in the equilibrium state. So when it is subjected to some kind of an input, its output changes, its response changes. Okay, so when we provide some input, the response changes from equilibrium and it tries to attain next level of equilibrium. It may be higher than the old one, it may be lower than the old one, depends on what the nature of the system is, but the system always tries to maintain equilibrium. Okay, so this transient response is the response of a system from rest. Here the system is at rest. See here, the system is at rest in the beginning to the next steady state. Okay, to the next steady state. And the response of the system once the transient dies is called a steady state response. Okay, from first equilibrium to the next equilibrium, we have transient response, and the equilibrium response, equilibrium state response, or it is called the steady state response. Okay, now some important things to note down which are characterizing the control systems are: transient response depends upon the system poles only. Remember this. Transient response depends upon system poles only and not on the type of the input. What I am talking about, transient response I am talking about. Okay, it is not dependent on the type of the input. Okay, it is therefore sufficient to analyze the transient response using a step input. We have seen the standard test signals, right? We have seen impulse, step, ramp, and parabolic signals. Out of that, step is one of the most important signal because it is one of the most practical signals. Okay, most practical signal that happens or that generally we apply or we use in a day-to-day life is step signal. Okay, so therefore it is we try to analyze any system any system's transient response using a step input. Okay. The steady state response depends on system dynamics and input quantity. Remember what I'm saying here, steady state response. Okay. Transient response is dependent on system pose, right? And the steady state response depends on system dynamics, means again, the mathematical nature of the system, and also on the input quantity. Now, why we are going to see in our next slides. Okay. And therefore time response we try to analyze using different test signals, and in that the steady state response is examined using final value theorem. Do you remember this final value theorem? What is this? Do you recall this final value theorem? Anyone? Anybody remembers final value theorem? We have seen this in, you might have studied this in the Laplace transforms when you have studied Laplace transforms. What it helps us calculate is the final value of any signal. For example, if f of t is the is your signal, then its final value is what? Limit of f of t where t tends to infinity. When t tends to infinity, what will be the value of this final, what will be the value of this f of t? That is what is calculated using the final value theorem. Okay. So we use that to find out the steady state value of the of any system response. Now let's take a standard equation of first order system, right? K upon Ts plus 1. Okay. See here, Ts plus 1. Here you can see here is 1, means the order of the system is 1, means this is the first order system, right? Everyone is clear about this? Yes or no? First order system, right? This is a first order system because there is a single pole in the system, or the order of the denominator polynomial is 1. Okay. Now in this equation, remember the format of the equation. Okay. In this equation, this K is called DC gain of the system, and T here, capital T here, is called the time constant of the system. Okay. These are the two components of a first order system transfer function. Okay. Now what this time constant is? The time constant is a measure of how quickly a first order system responds to a unit step input. How quick the response is, how fast the response is. That is what is indicated by means of this time constant. That's why the name is time. Of course its unit is T. It shows how fast, how quickly the system response will, how fast the system will respond to a unit step input. Means what? If I apply unit step input to, let's say, a time constant 1 system, then how much, then how fast is it? Time constant 2 system, then how is it? We are going to see these things also in our lecture, in the further part of our lectures. Okay. The second constant here, second constant, what is that? DC gain here, K. This DC gain of the system is what? It is nothing but the ratio between the output signal and the input signal. Basically a steady state value of the output and the steady state value of the input. Okay. The whatever the general idea of gain is in your mind when you have studied any system in general until now, before control systems, at that time whenever you used to say gain, that is this gain basically, that is this basically this K. Okay. So these two values K and T, the DC gain and time constant, these two values are going to affect, are going to play a major role in defining the response of our first order system. How? We'll see. Okay, let's take an example just to be make it clear how the DC gain and time constant are. Here, if GS, an example or transfer function given here, G of S is equal to 10 upon 3S plus 1. Remember, again, I'm going to enforce this, the format in which this is written. Okay, remember this. 3S plus 1 means the polynomial form. Okay, or this is also called as time constant representation, because this is given in 1 plus st form. 1 plus st, right? This is also given in this form. It is also called as time constant representation. Remember this, 1 plus st. So if it is like this, then this t will be your time constant. Now here it is the same format, right? 1 plus 3s. So 3 is the time constant and this 10 is the DC gain. Okay, so we have DC gain as 10 and 3 as time constant. Okay, but if in general, many of the times it is not, the system equation is not given in this format. Many of the times it is given in this kind of a format, s plus 5, something like this, 3 upon s plus 5. So now in this case, what is the DC gain and time constant? You have to rearrange these terms and bring this equation in this format. Recall this, remember this. 3 upon s plus 5, if it is like this, then I don't want this in s plus 5 form. I want this in 1 plus s into something, that form. So for that, we have to divide numerator and denominator by 5. Okay, I am going to divide numerator as well as the denominator by 5. And what I get? 3 by 5 upon 1 by 5 s plus 1. Okay, now once we get this, you can see this is now in this form, right? In this representation, time constant representation. Here, now I can say that the DC gain of the system is 3 by 5 and time constant is 1 by 5. Okay, remember this. Sometimes this kind of a very simple question is asked in theory, and now it is even more prominent in case of MCQs because it's just 1 mark MCQ, and oral obviously it is asked many times that a system equation is given and tell me the DC gain of the system or time constant of the system. So in that case, many times what happens, if this is the equation given, many students rush, if this is the equation given, many students rush to tell the answer that 3 is the DC gain, 5 is the time constant. No, it is not like that. You have to bring the equation in the time constant form first, in the 1 plus st form, and then only you will be able to say what is the DC gain and time constant of the system is. Okay, you got this? Time constant representation means 1 plus st representation. Every pole you can represent in this format, 1 plus st. First order system has only one pole, so there is no question of lot many adjustments. But even for higher order systems also, there is this representation called time constant representation. In that case, there will be multiple t's, t1, t2, t3, t4, like that. Okay, there will be multiple t's. Basically, in a way, you can think of higher order system as cascading of single order systems also. That also you can think of. Okay, so let's move forward. Okay, now we are coming to the one of the most important concept in control systems, also in signals and systems. Well, signals and systems and digital signal processing is not part of your curriculum in your program, B program, whole program. However, it is a very important section of electrical engineering, signals and systems, as well as digital signal processing, because most of the things, most of the processing, controlling, everything comes digitally now. And in that case, you will have to design at one stage, at some stage of your career, you will have to design digital control system. And for that, you must also know those concepts in signal processing. Anyway, so now we are coming to the impulse response concept. So coming to the definition, when we talked about a response, what is a response? We said, we have seen just in today's lecture in the beginning that a response is what? It is the output of a system for a given input. So if I give impulse signal as an input, whatever output I get is called as impulse response. Okay. Now, when I said first order system, this is the equation, standard equation of the first order system, just what we saw, K upon Ts plus 1. Rs is the input, Cs is the output as usual. These are just standard terms we are using right now. Okay. What specifies in the particular case is Rs is equal to delta of S is equal to 1, because we are saying input is what? Impulse signal. So can you tell me, anyone, what is the Laplace transform of impulse signal? Anjali, Laplace transform of impulse signal? Yes? Anyone? Anjali? Tohid? Yes, guys? Am I audible? Yes? Someone tell me what is the Laplace transform of impulse signal? Am I audible? Yes? Preeti? Laplace transform of impulse signal. It is on your screen. You can see it on the screen also. I'm not asking something new. Pratiksha?
Hello?
Yes? Yes, who is that? Who wants to answer me? Laplace transform of impulse signal. Anyone? Is it that very difficult question, or you don't understand, or I'm not audible? What is the problem? I will pause here. I want to understand what is the problem. Am I asking extremely difficult question that no one in the class knows the answer? Preeti?
Yes, sir.
Yes. मी काय फार अवघड प्रश्न विचारतोय का?
मी नव्हते ते इम्पल्स लेक्चरला लॅपलासच्या.
लॅपलासचे लेक्चर एसी ला झालेलं आहे. टी ला कुठे लॅपलास आहे? एसी ला लेक्चर झालेले लॅपलासचे. M3 मध्ये होतं ना लॅपलास ट्रान्सफॉर्म.
हो सर.
प्रमोद काय?
I don't know, sir.
वाय डू यू डोंट नो? तुम्हाला अभ्यास नाही करायचा आहे का कोणालाच? मग असंच ठेवणार आहे. फेल व्हाल बर का सगळ्याच्या सगळे CS1. जर तुम्ही लॅपलास ट्रान्सफॉर्म अभ्यास करायचा नसेल तर यू विल ऑल फेल. ईच अँड एव्हरी वन ऑफ यू विल फेल विदाउट लॅपलास ट्रान्सफॉर्म. काय अंजली, बरोबर आहे का?
सर 1.
मग 1 हे आन्सर का नाही आला आतापर्यंत? हॅव यू स्टडीड लॅपलास ट्रान्सफॉर्म? मी कितीदा रिमाइंडर दिलेत तुम्हाला, लॅपलास ट्रान्सफॉर्मचा स्टडी करा. लॅपलास ट्रान्सफॉर्म पेअर्स केल्यात का? किती जणांनी वाचलं त्याबद्दल? की तुम्हाला आपोआप येईल आता सगळं. आणि दिसतंय ना समोर लिहिलेलं आहे ना मी आन्सर, तरी पण उत्तर देत नाही कोणी. म्हणजे तुम्ही लेक्चर पण अटेंड नाही करत असा याचा अर्थ होतो. जस्ट यू हॅव स्विच्ड ऑन युअर मोबाईल्स, जॉईन द मीटिंग अँड यू हॅव लेफ्ट. दॅट इज व्हॉट इट मीन्स. I want every one of you to go through your M3 syllabus, notes, books, whatever you have, or any control system book, anything on internet. If you just type Laplace transform pairs, you will find that you must know the Laplace transform pairs. Okay. So in this equation, you can see R of S, as it is the Laplace transform of impulse signal, it is equal to 1. So what is the value of C of S? C of S is equal to this function multiplied by this function, right? Am I right? या दोघांचं मल्टिप्लिकेशन असतंय फक्त CS. So CS is equal to K upon TS plus 1. But this is only the transfer function, right? This is nothing but the transfer function. Nothing has changed. So what it means, another definition of transfer function you can also remember is, can you guess? It is the Laplace transform of impulse response of the system. Of course, with zero initial conditions. Laplace transform of impulse response. This is nothing but impulse response, right? C of S. Here it is impulse response, but it is also equal to the transfer function. These are equal, right? These are equal. So Laplace, the transfer function is equal to the Laplace transform of impulse response of the system. Okay. So this was the impulse signal given. If I give impulse signal to the system, I get the output which is called impulse response. And if I take the Laplace transform of the impulse response, I get nothing but the transfer function equation. Okay. So again, this is what CS is equal to K upon 1 plus TS. And when we say we want a response, we want time response, what it means, we must find out the response in time domain, means as a function of time. So how we do that? We take inverse Laplace transform of this. So before that, we will have to rearrange the terms in the form of S plus 1 by T. Why we need to do this? Because again, we have to take care of the inverse Laplace transform here. The Laplace transform inversion pair, we have a pair for 1 upon S plus A. We have pair for 1 upon S plus A, like this. Laplace transform of C, if C is any constant, C upon S plus A, the inverse of this equation is C e raised to minus AT. This is a standard Laplace transform pair. C upon S plus A चा inverse Laplace transform is equal to C e raised to minus AT. Okay. So because we don't want to apply the Laplace transform inversion integral equation, what we know a lot of pairs of standard Laplace and inverse Laplace pairs. So we convert our equation into any one of those standard pairs. and then we invert the equation. Now you can see this is equivalent to this term in the bracket is equivalent to in the same format. Okay, so k by t here is c and 1 by t is a. So what is the inverse Laplace transform here, or what will be the value here of the impulse response? C of t will be equal to what? C means the k by t and k by t, and e raised to minus a. A in this case is 1 by t. Okay. K by t e raised to minus small t upon capital T. Here small t is the time domain variable and capital T is, it is the same thing. It is the time constant. Okay. So this is the equation for, this is the equation for impulse response of a first order system. K by t into e raised to minus t by capital T. So just for an example, if k is equal to 3 and t is equal to 2 seconds, then using this impulse response equation, we get this kind of a graph. Okay. Remember this kind of a graph. Have you seen this kind of a graph somewhere earlier in your studies? Have you seen, any one of you have seen this kind of a graph? It is kind of a graph of a discharging of a capacitor, right? Discharging of capacitor happens in this similar manner. And in that case also, if you can recall, there was a time constant of the capacitor. It is the same concept here. Okay. We are not learning something very extravagant. We are learning some things which we have already seen, which we have learned. We are talking about the mathematical treatment of those studies. Okay. The meeting may terminate. You have to rejoin. Okay. Don't go anywhere. We will continue for some 15 minutes again. Okay. Because anyway, we joined a little late. Okay. Now, what about the step response? In case of step response, this R of t or the R of S is nothing but what? It is the step signal, right? R of S is, we are talking about the step signal. Okay. So what is the Laplace transform of unit step signal? It is the Laplace transform of unit step signal is 1 by S. So if we substitute this R of S with 1 by S here, and then we try to calculate C of S, we get this equation. Am I right? K upon S into 1 plus ST. Is this correct? Yes, this is right. Okay. Now again, for getting the response, means for getting the time domain signal, what we need? We must get the, okay. So I hope everyone has rejoined. So now you can look at this term, and if you can recall, there is no Laplace pair for taking the inverse of this. There is no direct Laplace pair for taking the inverse of this equation. So what we have to do, we have to break it into partial fraction expansion. We have to break this equation using partial fraction expansion. And using that, when we split or when we break this equation, what we get is this: C of S is equal to K by S minus KT by 1 plus ST or TS plus 1. The same thing. It basically what it does, it creates separate algebraic sums of separate terms having denominators, independent denominators, individual denominator terms. Okay. Now we have this equation. I will just rewrite it on the next slide. But recall that here, this is called forced response. Okay. The first part, K by S, it is called forced response. And this is called, the second section of this is called the natural response of the system. Okay. Now I'm going to take it again here. CS is equal to, I've just taken out K common from the both the terms, in K into 1 plus 1 upon S minus T upon TS plus 1. Okay. Now, as we are talking about time domain analysis, time response of the system, what we need, we have to take inverse of this, inverse Laplace transform of this to find out C of t, right? We have to find out C of t. Now you tell me, if I take inverse Laplace transform of this, what should it be? This term is, it is similar to the one that we have seen in the impulse response case. Is it right? Is it not the same? T upon Ts plus 1, is it the similar, not the same term by per se, but it is a similar representation. C upon S plus A, that representation. Okay, so you can apply that formula here. And what about this 1 by S? Inverse Laplace transform of 1 by S is what? It is U of t. U of t, unit step, right? Or simply putting 1. So if we take inverse Laplace of this, what we get is K is here as it is, right? U of t minus e raised to minus t by capital T. Okay. So this is what the equation for the step response of first order system is for the moment. Now U of t, what is the value of U of t? U of t is what? Unit step input. So what is the value of that U of t? It is, U of t is like this, right? It is like this. And what is this here? It is 1. U of t value is 1 for t greater than equal to 0. The value is 1. And for t less than 0, it is 0. So we can substitute U of t as 1 in this equation, and therefore C of t becomes K into 1 minus e raised to t by capital T. Okay. Now when t is equal to capital T, remember what we are now analyzing a particular case, small t becomes equal to capital T. Means let's say t, the time constant is 2 seconds. So when the time is 2 seconds, what would be the effect, or what would be the value of C of t in that case? So in that case, it will be here t by t will be 1. So e raised to minus 1. If you evaluate this, that comes out to be 0.632. Do you remember this number again? 0.632. Do you remember this number? You have seen somewhere? Yes? Have you seen this number somewhere? 63.2%. Like this, you might have said somewhere. Or 0.632 also you might have said. This is the value. This is the value that is going to relate to the value of step response at time is equal to time constant. T is equal to capital T. What it means? When the independent variable time, when the system is running for up to time constant value, at that time what shall be the output? It shall be the 63.2% of the final output. That is what it means. So here on this graph it can be much clearer. Okay, now here purposefully I have taken k is equal to 10. Okay, so what it means, the final value of the output would be 10. Final value will be 10 because I'm talking about unit step. Input is 1, k is 10, so k is DC gain, right? K is DC gain, so output will be 10. At the end, I am talking about at the end, here at the steady state, output will be equal to 10, right? So you can see the graph now. At t is equal to 1.5 second, if we have in our system, then at t is equal to 1.5, here it is 1.5, right? At t is equal to 1.5, the output is 63.2%. This is what time constant is. So from the graph, you can also find out values of k and t. If I give you only this graph, nothing else. If I give you this graph, you can find out the DC gain. K is equal to steady state output. What is the steady state output? It is 10, right? Steady state output is 10. And what was the input? Input was unit step, so 1. So DC gain is equal to 10. We can find out DC gain from the graph. And from the graph itself, you take 63% of the final output. Final output was 10, so 63.2% of output is 60 here, 6.32. And what was the value of t at that point? Take the projection on the x-axis, it is 1.5. So 1.5 is the t. So in this way, from the graph also, from the step response also, we can find out the transfer function of the system. We can find out the equation for the system also. And from the equation also, we can find out the output. So this is vice versa. You can, from response, you can find out transfer function, or using the transfer function, you can find out the response of the system. Okay. Everyone, I hope is clear to you. Now, when I said time constant is how we have defined, it is the time taken by the system, how fast the system is, right? So if t is equal to 1 second, you can see this is the graph. T equal to 3 seconds, this is the graph. T equal to 5 seconds, red. T equal to 7, this graph. So can you tell me which one is faster? Anyone? Anyone can tell me which one is faster? Which system is faster? कुठली सिस्टम फास्ट आहे, क्विक आहे? क्विक कुठली सिस्टम आहे? या जे 4 ग्राफ दाखवले वेगवेगळ्या सिस्टमला ऍप्लिकेबल आहे ते. मग यातली कुठली सिस्टम? येस,
टी इक्वल टू 5.
टी इक्वल टू 5. असं का? कशावरून? म्हणजे ही मधलीच कुठली तरी म्हटलं तू, कशावरून ती फास्ट आहे?
सर एक व्हिडिओ मध्ये मी स्लोप बघितले होते, त्या हिशोबाने कसं डिस्टन्स कव्हर होते.
हा, पण मग स्लोपच्या टर्म्स मध्ये जरी बघितलं तर याचा स्लोप जास्त आहे ना. दिस इज द मॅक्सिमम स्लोप, दिस इज द मिनिमम स्लोप. मग असं मधली अँगल पण मग तसंच, अँगल याचा जास्त, याचा कमी आहे, याचा मध्येच आहे काहीतरी. व्हाय यू आर सेइंग दिस इज द फास्टेस्ट? Yes, okay, let me tell you some basic concept behind any system. कुठलीही सिस्टम काय करत असते, तर जे इनपुट तुम्हाला दिलं जातं, त्या सिस्टमला जे इनपुट दिलं जातं, त्या इनपुटला फॉलो करायचा ती प्रयत्न करते. Every system tries to follow the input. Okay. Now you tell me what was the input in this case? The input was like this. Actually, it was just like this. Input was only one because it was unit step input. But since there is a multiplying factor k DC gain, that's why I have drawn this line. So basically, what the system is doing is it is trying to follow this thing. It 0 वरून 10 ला जायचंय सिस्टमला आणि इनपुट कसं गेलं 0 वरून 1 ला इन्स्टंटली गेलंय बरोबर. इट वॉज अ स्टेप. इनपुट went from 0 to 1 in a instant at t equal to 0. So similarly, output also wants to go it in the same way. सिस्टमचं आउटपुट सुद्धा त्याच पद्धतीनं जायचा प्रयत्न करत असते. पण it is never possible, or if you want to make it possible, then you will have to introduce so many different things into the system. Okay. मग आता मला सांगा की ultimate goal of the system is to follow this path. Okay, this path. Okay, ultimate aim of this system is to follow this path. मग याच्यातली कुठली क्लोजेस्ट आहे या पाथला? Closest, which one is closest to this path? It is the t equal to 1 system. t equal to 1 system अगदी जवळून प्रयत्न करा किंवा लवकरात लवकर कमीत कमी वेळात it is trying to attain the final output. You can see almost at t equal to 5 it is reaching the output, whereas this system it is taking lot more time. This is even taking more time. This is even taking more time. So basically, when we say time constant is smaller, it means that the system takes lesser amount of time to reach its final value. So ideally, time constant should be 0. Time constant कमीत कमी असायला पाहिजे. Time constantच नाही पाहिजे. Because it is going to introduce some delay in the system. It is going to introduce some amount of lag in the system. Okay. So we don't want the time constant to be higher. Okay. This is, you can see t is equal to 1, 3, 5, 7. Time constant is increasing. Means what? The time taken by the system to reach steady state is increasing. Okay. Remember? टाइम जास्त घेते. टाइम कॉन्स्टंट जास्त म्हणजेच काय? टाइम जास्त लागतोय सिस्टमला रिस्पॉन्स घेण्यासाठी. अँड द सेकंड फॅक्टर ऑफ द फर्स्ट ऑर्डर सिस्टम विच इज के, द डीसी गेन. ओके. हा डीसी गेन जो आहे, हा डीसी गेन जसं जसं तुम्ही वाढवाल तसं काय होतंय? इफ आय कीप टी एज कॉन्स्टंट अँड ओनली आय चेंज डीसी गेन, सो नथिंग स्पेशल. इट इज जस्ट द आउटपुटची लेवल जी आहे, फायनल लेवल, DC level, final DC level, that is going to increase, right? 10, 5, 3, 1, whatever it was. Whereas the time taken by the system for 63% of the output, 63% साठी जो वेळ लागतो तो सेमच असतो. Okay. So it is, the time constant is same in this case, but the DC value means the final output of the value is different. Here in this graph, you can keep a snapshot of this graph with you, that the time constant t, when this small t is equal to capital T, the output is 63.2% that we have seen. Okay. When the time is 2t, the output is 86.5% of the final value. When it is 3t, it is 95%. When it is 4t, it is 98.2%. When it is 5t, it is 99.3%, and likewise. आता कोणी सांगेल का की 100% कधी होईल? Anyone? When will the output be 100%? output, mathematically, the output can never be 100%. Output 100%, mathematically I'm talking about, it can never reach 100%. Remember this thing again, mathematically, the output can never become 100%. But for all practical purposes, it can be assumed 100% even after this. This is sufficient level. 98.2 is quite good level to consider the output, to say that the output has reached the final value. Okay. All of you put your attendance in the chat box. And if you have questions, you can ask. And before that, let me tell you, remind you, not tell you, go and look in the Laplace transform equations. तुम्हाला कुठल्याही बुक मध्ये सापडतील, तुमच्या जुन्या नोट्स असतील त्यांच्यात सापडतील, कुठेही शोधा. लॅपलास ट्रान्सफॉर्म पेयर्स लागणार आहेत तुम्हाला प्रॉब्लेम सॉल्व्ह करण्यासाठी, डेरिव्हेशन साठी, सगळ्याच गोष्टींसाठी लागणार आहेत. सो डोंट जस्ट इग्नोर दीज थिंग्स. These are very important things for you, for your study and understanding. कोणाची राहिलेली अटेंडन्स त्यांनी क्विकली अटेंडन्स द्या. आय एम गोइंग टू एंड द मीटिंग नाउ. ओके. ओके, आवाज येतोय?
Yes, sir.
ओके. Okay. When the time constant increases, system response becomes slow. The ideal system response is it should follow the input as it is, as per the input path. So input in this case was a step input. So ideally, this should have been the response. But it is not really possible to get the step output practically. Practically, it is very difficult to obtain this kind of output. So some kind of deviation from that output is allowed. Now, how much deviation we can allow, it depends on our requirement, on our system requirement. Whether, for example, if you look at your ceiling fan or the fan in your room, in your home, when you turn on the fan, the power goes like this. Input power is like, in the beginning it is 0 volt you are supplying, and suddenly you supply 230 volts, right? So this is nothing but a step input. You suddenly supply 230 volt to the fan. So ideally, the fan speed, let's say when it was off, it was 0, and at that time, what you want the fan to be turned on. So ideally, you would expect the fan should be turned on instantaneously. It does get turned on instantaneously. However, this is the ideal expectation. Let's say it is 500 RPM when at the like this. This is the settled case, okay? Or steady state response is 500 RPM of the fan. So ideally, what we want, when we turn on the switch, the fan should start rotating at 500 RPM. But it doesn't really happen. The speed increases slowly like this. Now, how much slowly? It may increase like this. It may increase like this. It may increase like this. So that is what I have drawn here. It is just like that. That if the time constant of the system is higher, the response will be slower or sluggish. Okay. So ideally, what we want, it should be as low as possible. Time constant should be as low as possible. Okay. This also we discussed yesterday, that the time at which the output is 0.632 of final output, or 63.2% of the final output, is called the time constant. Okay, that is what the time constant value is. And at 4t we get 98.2%, and at 5t we get 99.3%. So obviously to reach the steady state, how much time is required? If I say 5t, right? 99.3% means we will say that here we have almost reached the steady state. So how much time it has taken? 5t, right? So if t is higher, if when in this case t was 1 second, so 5 seconds are required to get the steady state. However, in case if the time t is 7 seconds, then 35 seconds will be required to reach the final steady state, right? Means the system is slower to reach the steady state. Whereas the other factor in the in the first order system is, what is that? Second factor is the DC gain of the system, which is nothing but the simple gain, right? You can see here, if the gain is 1 or 3 or 5 or 10 and input is 1. Remember here input was only 1 unit step, right? Step response, unit step input was given. So in that case, the output will be dependent on the value k. But which output? The steady state value of the output, right? This initial section, what do we call this section? This is the transient response, right? It is dependent on the pole. Whereas the steady state response, this is dependent on the value of k, the DC gain of the system. Okay. Now, what is the relationship between step and impulse response? If you can recall, what is the relationship between step input and impulse input? They have differential and integral relationship, right? If we integrate impulse signal, we get step signal. If we differentiate step signal, we get impulse signal. A similar relationship exists between the step and impulse response. For example, here, this is the step response of the first order system that we have derived on earlier slides yesterday. And when you differentiate this signal or this equation with respect to t, means if you take d by dt of both the sides, what you get? You get this value, k by t e raised to minus t by t. Now what is this? What is this value? K by t e raised to minus t by t. It is nothing but the impulse response of the system. So if we have the same kind of relationship, if we differentiate step response, we get impulse response. So the reverse relationship is also true. If we integrate impulse response, we will get step response. Okay. So remember this. If you have any questions, you can raise. You can ask. Okay. You can interrupt and ask if you have any questions. लक्षात आलं रिलेशनशिप काय आहे स्टेप आणि इनपुट मध्ये? जसं इनपुट सिग्नल्स मध्ये आहेत, स्टेप सिग्नल चा डिफरन्शिएशन you will get impulse signal. Impulse signal's integration, you will get step signal. Similarly, if you differentiate step response, you will get impulse response. If you integrate impulse response, you will get step response. So remember these things. Okay. Now let's take an example and see what we can do from the from mathematical point of view. Okay. So let's say here impulse response of a first order system is given here. C of t is equal to 3 e raised to minus 0.5 t. This is given. Okay. What is this? This is the impulse response. Means what? It is the output of the system when impulse signal is given as input. Okay. Impulse response is given here. So what we have to find out? We have to find out time constant t, DC gain k, transfer function, and step response. Step response also we have to find out from the given impulse response of the system. Okay. So what now? The first line, again, as I explained yesterday, the Laplace transform of impulse response of a system is actually the transfer function of the system. Yes, we have seen this yesterday. Laplace transform of impulse response. Laplace transform of impulse response of a system is actually the transfer function of the system, right? So if we take Laplace transform of this impulse response, what we will get? We will get the transfer function of the system. Okay, so let's take Laplace transform of this C of t. It becomes capital C of S, and that is equal to 3. 3 is a constant, so it remains as it is. E raised to minus 0.5t, its Laplace transform is 1 upon S plus 0.5. So finally, ultimately, we get 3 upon S plus 0.5. Okay. Now, why this one? This one stands for this delta S, because that was the input. That is the delta S is the Laplace transform of the impulse input. Okay. So CS by delta S, which is nothing but CS by RS, is equal to 3 upon S plus 0.5. Okay. So you can see that this is not in the time constant form. Yesterday, I have discussed this time constant form, right? Yesterday, we have seen time constant form means 1 plus ST. The form is 1 plus ST. In that form, you should represent your denominator terms. So we have to convert it. Instead of this 0.5, we should have 1. So we are dividing the numerator and denominator by 0.5. So that's why this 3 becomes 6. And here, when we are dividing by 0.5 means multiplying by 2. So we get here 6 upon 2s plus 1. So now we have the equation in the time constant form, right? We have the equation in the time constant form now. So from this equation, what we can tell, what is asked, what is the requirement? We have to tell time constant t and DC gain k. So can you tell me what is the DC gain and time constant? Anyone? Yes, anyone? What is k and t? What are the values of k and t from this equation? Can you tell me?
K6 and T2.
Right? K is 6 and t is 2. Right? Good. So half of the part we have now solved. T is equal to 2, K is equal to 6. DC gain is 6 and time constant is 2. By the way, sometimes in some books, you may see instead of this capital T, you may see this letter tau. Okay. That is also used many times for representing the time constant. So don't get confused just because of the representation of notations. Okay. Okay. So the next question is to find out transfer function. We have already got the transfer function, right? CS by RS is nothing but the transfer function, right? Now for step response, and we have to draw the step response. You have to draw the step response on your notebook. Okay. So for step response, what are the ways? How can you find out step response? Can someone tell me now how to find out the step response of this system? We have to find out that equation of step response. Yes? Just guess. Just whatever you think, you just tell me. Yes, anyone? How can we find out the step response? We have impulse response. We also have the transfer function. We have two things. Anyone?
Integration.
Divya, your voice is breaking.
Hello?
Yes?
Integration.
Integration of what?
Impulse response.
Yes. Integration of impulse response. That is one way of finding out. Okay, so let's do it. Okay. So impulse response is this one, right? C of t is equal to 3 raised to minus 0.5 t. That is the impulse response. So we will integrate it. So what we get? See what we got? Am I right? Cs of t just to is equal to minus 6 e raised to minus 0.5 t plus c. What is this c? Why do we have this c here? This is the integration constant of integration, right? So we got the integration, we kind of got the step response, but we have to first now estimate the value of c. How can we do this? We can find out the value of c if we know the initial condition. For example, Cs of t is equal to 0. In the beginning, the system was at rest. So the output, this S is for step. C of t, S means what? Step response. It was 0 in the beginning. So we can take this value and try to substitute. What does it mean? It means that t is equal to 0. Okay, that this is nothing but the initial condition. So if we substitute this 0 in this equation, what we get? The value of c is 6. So the final answer for this step response is this. Cs of t is equal to 6 minus 6 e raised to minus 0.5 t. All of you got this? What we have done here? Any questions regarding this? Now, what if we don't know the initial condition? If, let's say, this initial condition is not known, then what is the other way to find out the step response? Can someone tell me? What is the other way to find out the step response? By the way, recall that we have the transfer function now, right? We already have the transfer function. We have found out the transfer function. So we have transfer function of the system. So can we find out step response now? From the transfer function, we can find out step response by what? Multiplying the transfer function by the Laplace transform of input and then taking the inverse Laplace transform like this. We know Cs by Rs. This is the transfer function. And Rs being a step input is 1 by S. Right? These two things we know. We are trying to find out step response. So Rs is 1 by S. So Cs means the Laplace transform of output is equal to 1 by S multiplied by 6 upon 2s plus 1. So that's what we get here, 6 upon S into 2s plus 1. Now here again we are applying the partial fraction expansion here. Okay. So once we get this partial fraction expansion of this term, okay, values of A and B is 6 and minus 6. What we get from these two, we have to take what? L inverse, Laplace transform inverse of this we have to find out. When we take inverse Laplace transform of this equation, what we get? We will get the step response. Why? Because this is C of S, means output, Laplace transform of output, C of S. If I am taking, this is nothing but C of S, right? I am taking Laplace inverse of C of S, which is nothing but C of T, right? And that is what step response is. So again here, 6 upon S, this is nothing but step. Its Laplace inverse is 1. So 6 into 1 is 1. And here 6 also comes out in common. 1 upon S plus 0.5. Its Laplace inverse is e raised to minus 0.5 t. So do we get the same expression for step response as we got in the earlier slide? See here, 6 minus 6 e raised to minus 0.5 t. Here also we get 6 minus 6 e raised to minus 0.5 t. Okay. So this is how you will, you can find out step response from impulse response. You can also do this vice versa. If step response is given, you can find out impulse response from that. From impulse response, you can find out transfer function. Even from step response, you will be able to find out transfer function. So thing is, you must understand the concepts. It is not only to remember or recall things, you should understand the concepts. Okay, what we have seen, the concepts are important. Okay, I'm going to show you something again, just to refresh. Where is that diagram? Yeah, here. Remember this thing. This system can be anything. Okay, you can have any system represented as transfer function. You have to recall that this is R of S and this is C of S. Okay, so G of S is equal to C of S upon R of S. G of S is equal to C of S upon R of S. So whatever the value of R of S is, what is this? R of S is Laplace of input. So if it is a delta, then R of S will be 1. If it is step, means U of t. Mostly these two will be used. Okay. Then what? R of S will be 1 by S. So these, what are these? What are these things? What I am writing here? These are Laplace transform pairs. U of t, Laplace is 1 by S. 1 by S inverse Laplace is U of t. And the most important equation, 1 upon S plus A. Its inverse Laplace is what? Anyone? E raised to minus AT. Okay. These are the very basic and the most frequently used Laplace transform pairs. You will have to recall this for a long time. Every time, whenever we will talk about any further discussions about control systems, this equation is going to play a major role. Okay. For your understanding, this is very important equation. This is very particularly very important equation. E raised to minus AT and 1 upon S plus A. This Laplace transform pair is very important. Okay. Because of this equation, because when you understand this, that time you will find a lot of easier things to understand. Okay. So whatever we have done today and even yesterday, it is based on this general concept that the input output are related in this manner. Okay. So whatever the value of R of S you are going to substitute, it will play a role in the value of GS. So if the input is delta of t, means R of S is 1. Obviously, G of S is equal to C of S, means impulse response, right? Impulse response, Laplace transform of impulse response is nothing but the transfer function. So that is what we have seen yesterday also and today also. Okay. So here we conclude this part of the second unit, which is time response of first order system. It is not the completion of unit. Remember, this is the completion of this part, that time response of first order system is now done. Okay. Now I'm going to go for the second part, or not rather second, the next part of the next part of our discussion, which is time response of second order system. Okay. Now what is this? Time response of second order system. Time domain analysis of second order system. Remember, the first order system was very easy. There were only two simple components. Oh, by the way, my new screen is visible to you, right? If you can see, just somebody just say yes. Right. I have shared another PPT now. Time domain analysis.
Yes, sir. Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Right. Great. So now you are seeing the time domain analysis of second order system. Can someone quickly tell me what is the difference between first order and second order system? Anyone quickly? It is just about the order of the system, right? Yes, Nikhil? Yes, the order of the system is 2. Means what? There are 2 poles in the system, or the degree of the denominator polynomial is 2. And remember, the second order system analysis, whatever we are going to start now, is going to play a vital role in analyzing all the systems that